year, when we went into the pandemic, so around this time last year, everyone, was on lockdown, right? And many schools that had either they had not been test optional went test optional, and Xavier is one of them. We decided to continue that with this current class, i.e. you, okay? So students had the option to either submit scores or not. You were still evaluated accordingly. So therefore, if you are a test optional student, you have automatically essentially placed yourself in what we call developmental coursework. I don't want you to look at that as a negative thing, okay? I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Traditionally, when we talk about developmental coursework, Xavier has utilized test scores in order to place students within certain classes, especially as it pertains to math, English, and I'm missing one, Adrian, math, English, and reading. And so with those three different classes, we have typically utilized test scores for placement options. Being test optional, obviously that has kind of changed the dynamic. So Xavier, now we're trying to make sure that we're doing our due diligence to put you where you're supposed to be, because we don't want to see you just go to school. We want to see you go through school. And by making sure that you're being placed in the correct courses, we're able to set you up accordingly so that you can do well academically. So we've always had different options for you to place out of these courses, and we're going to talk about that today. But I just kind of wanted to give you a little more context and give you the why behind where we are with things. So admissions has invited our partners over at Say So, and I won't steal their shine so they can talk a little bit about what Say So is, but Dr. Adrian Woods, who just jumped in a minute ago to help me, she is joining me today to talk to you about course placement. What does that mean? And how you can opt out of that essentially, and the steps that you need to take in order to make sure that you matriculate successfully. One last thing before I actually bring it over to her. Please be sure that you pay attention to today's information, because at the end of the day, our policy does say, and you have this in your information, that in order to successfully enroll at Xavier, you can only have one developmental course requirement, okay? So you have, remember I said 3 different classes, math, English, and reading. To successfully enroll your first semester, you can only have one that's needed under your belt. All right. So Dr. Adrian Woods is coming from Say So. She's the coordinator, exploratory, advising, and academic planning coordinator. And she's going to talk to you a little bit more about kind of what that means. All right. So I'm going to roll it over to you, Dr. Woods.
Good afternoon, future Xavierites. We are happy to have you here with us, and we look forward to you joining us this fall. Before I start with our PowerPoint, one of my colleagues is here with me, Mr. Torian Mingo. So Torian, would you greet them?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mr. Torian Mingo. I am one of the professional academic advisors in the Say So office. For those who don't know what Say So stands for, it's for Student Academic Success Office.
And Mr. Mingo will be someone that you will work very closely with during the fall semester. He works with mainly first year students. And so you will get an opportunity to work with him. So we're not going to prolong. We're going to get this PowerPoint. Hold on one second for me. Okay, everyone can see my screen. What you're looking at is our beautiful building. That's where we are located. It is called the St. Joseph Academic and Resource Center. So that's where our office is, on the 3rd floor. So course placement. If you took the ACT or the SAT and you've submitted those scores, you have to have earned particular scores to not be placed in developmental courses. So if you look at this grid that we have up now, in order to test out of
Dr.
developmental
Woods,
courses.
I think you probably want to expand it. So hitting your presentation on the bottom right so that everyone can see it.
How do you do that?
There, bottom right, the presentation icon. Nope, to the right, right there.
Right here?
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so in order to test out of developmental courses, your ACT score has to be, for English, your ACT score has to be a 19 or higher. Your SAT score has to be 26 to 32, and you will place into what we call English 1010. So that where you see English 990 in red, that is a developmental course. And so if you have 12 or less, you will place into English 990. For math, to place into degree credit course, your ACT has to be 20 or 23, your SAT 520 to 560. The red is Math 990, which is our developmental math course. If you score a 19 or less on the ACT, or 510 or less on the SAT. And then writing, I'm sorry.
Really quickly, I'm going to jump in, Dr. Woods.
Yeah.
And as she's saying, for the SAT math score, that is for the math portion. Please remember, that's for the math portion.
Yes, the math portion. Yeah. For reading, you need a 19 or higher on the ACT, or 24 or higher on the SAT. So any questions about that one? Or we can hold questions to the end. Okay, so if you have any questions, write them down and we'll take them at the end. So in order to, if you did not take ACT or SAT, you have an opportunity to test out of the developmental courses by taking the Accuplacer. The Accuplacer is a test that's designed and created by College Board. It is computer-based and it assesses your skills in reading, writing, and math. Right now, we're not doing those tests face-to-face. You will be doing them through Zoom, and there are instructors there who serve as proctors who are there in Zoom with you when you are taking the test. It includes reading comprehension, sentence skills, arithmetic, elementary algebra, college level math, writing tests, and that's the right placer. It determines your placement into math and English course. So let me also tell you something about the reading portion of it. So you don't have to take a reading course. However, if you test into developmental reading and you are a science major, if you are a biology major, a chemistry major, a psychology pre-med major, you cannot take any science courses while you are enrolled in developmental courses. You must complete the developmental courses before you can enroll in your college degree science courses. If you took an Accuplacer at another school, you would need to send those scores to us so that we can have them. The Accuplacer is, we administer that test right now during the academic year. It is administered every day between the hours of 1 and 4. Beginning May 1st, it will be administered from 9 to 12, and then from 1 until 4. initial test is free. However, if you need to retest, if you don't get the score to place you out of developmental courses and you want to retest, it is a $20 fee, and you have to wait 2 weeks before you can request a retest. The link you see at the bottom is where you would actually go to take the Accuplacer. But once you are scheduled, so in order to get scheduled for the Accuplacer, and if you have a pen and paper, and we'll see this a little later on, you have to send an email to placement testing, all one word, placement testing at XULA.edu. When you send that email, you need to include your name, your 900 number, your email address, your cell phone number, and your date of birth. You would send that information to placement testing at XULA.edu, and one of the testers will reach out to you to schedule your test. So if you need all 3 tests, it can take up to 3 hours for you to test. If you only need one, it's normally about an hour, hour and a half for one test. But if you need all 3, it can take 3 hours for that test. In order to test out, that's what you're looking at now. You get a score, you get an Accuplacer score, and you get that score immediately after testing. And so to test into degree credit English, you would need to have a 5 to an 8 score on the Accuplacer. For to test out of developmental math, you would need to have a 260 to a 269. And for reading, you have to have a 255. Reading is broken down into 2 different categories. One is reading 0992I, and one is reading 992. The difference between the 2, one is a 3-hour course and one is a 4-hour course. And so that's the difference between the 2. One is more intensive. The one with the I, you have a tutoring component with it, and you will be meeting with a tutor also, in addition to taking the class and taking the course. Also want you to understand about developmental courses. You do not get degree credit for those courses. They count in terms of you being a full-time student. Math is 4 credit hours, English is 3 credit hours. So just to give you an example, if you come in with a developmental course, say math, because that's the one most students have to take, that's a 4-hour course. You're normally restricted to 12 credit hours. And so if you have 12 credit hours and 4 is the developmental math, when you finish the semester, you will only have earned 8 hours, not 12 hours. But that 12 hours will be your enrollment numbers, and also will count in terms of your attempted hours for federal financial aid purposes. So wanted you to be clear about that. So we also have what's called a Somersault Institute for those students who scored an 18 or 19 on the SAT. We have a program called the Somersault Institute where you will be able to satisfy your math requirement during the summer. Starting last summer, we have a co-curricular program where you would be able to complete your requirements for Math 990, but you will also be able to complete a degree credit math course that's called Math 1030I. It's intensive pre-calculus. So during the summer, you will have an opportunity to satisfy that if you decide to participate in the Somersault Institute. It is a 6-week program. The first week is the developmental math, and that will be still held via Zoom. But the remaining 5 weeks, you will be a residential student on the campus, live on campus, take the class. You will also get individual group tutoring. You'll get career readiness. You get some study skills we call college bound real talk. That's just a part of the component of the program. And information will be coming out about that a little later. You'll get more information about it, but just wanted to put it on your mind just in case you take the placement test and you don't test out of the developmental math. This is another opportunity you will have to satisfy that requirement before school starts. So this is just a description of College Bound Real Talk. We call it a wrap session where Mr. Mingle and his colleague, Mrs. Starks, will have workshops with you daily or twice a week, where it's your opportunity to just talk about what you're feeling about college, your experiences that you're having, just that opportunity to get you to bond with the Xavier community. The benefits is building friendships early on. You get an opportunity to meet upperclassmen because we will have peer mentors assigned to students who are upperclassmen. You'll get to experience our campus resources. You'll be taking a college level course, this is only the second time we have offered it, where you actually get credit for your math course at the end of the summer. It helps with your transition to college, and it could eliminate some of the fears and misconceptions that you might have about beginning college. The Office of Student Academic Success, since Ms. Brown invited us, we wanted to put a little plug in for our office. In addition to the placement testing, we have an office dedicated to helping students be successful at Xavier. So we work with students who are deciding majors. Some of you might not know exactly what you want to major in when you get to Xavier, or after a first couple of weeks, the major you decided you thought you wanted to be in, you may decide that's not quite what you want, and you can become a deciding major. I advise that population of students. We have students on strict probation. I'm not going to talk to you too much about that because I don't want to scare you already. So we're going to skip over that. First year students who may need additional support, that's the population Mr. Mingle and Mr. Starks work with. If you are an athlete or a transfer student, we have Dr. Ian Scott in our office who is dedicated to working with that population of students. We help students to develop academic success plans. We host Keys to Success workshops that range from time management to how to speak with your instructor to how to study for an exam, just a whole wide range of skills that you would need to develop to be a successful student. We also monitor the academic performance of our students. So as first-time freshmen, we are monitoring your success. We have a system in place that's called Early Alert. If you, within the first couple of weeks, are not doing well, your instructors will let us know. Mr. Mingle, Mrs. Starks will reach out to you to meet with you to try to get ahead of the problem and be proactive rather than reactive if you start getting into academic trouble early. Our office also consists of several resource centers. So we have resource centers in math, reading, English, general chemistry, organic chemistry, biology, and physics. So you get an opportunity to get tutoring for free. You do not have to pay for a tutor. We have a whole staff of students who we pay, who are tutors, who will dedicate their time to helping you be successful. And I'll take that one. So that's basically our presentation to you. That's the email address I was telling you about earlier, placementtesting@xula.edu. If you need to take the placement test, you can start immediately sending that information to that email address so they can get you scheduled. Right now they have a waiting list already. So you want to make sure you get on if you need it. I am responsible for the Summer Start Institute, and that's my email address. Dr. Nathaniel Holm is the Assistant Provost for Student Academic Success, and who our office reports to, and that's his name and email. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to either one of us. We're looking forward to helping you. I am really looking forward to you participating in the Summer Start Institute. We have 50 slots for 200 students. So, you know, make sure if you don't get that score to place you into credit mat, that you reach out to me about
niggas in Paris.
Summer Start.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Woods. We do have questions coming in.
Okay.
Before I try to get to some of those different questions, I just wanted to kind of circle back. I had 3 things that I wanted to mention. So with all that we've discussed today, I want you to take away these things. You have 3 different ways in which you can actually place out of developmental coursework, okay? 3 different ways. Those ways are, 1, you can submit your test scores. Okay, you can choose to submit your test scores if we don't have them already. 2, you can choose to take the course over the summer, or take it with Xavier. You could choose to do something like that, which is also through the Summer Start Institute. But remember that Summer Start Institute program, it's a little different in the fact that there are certain requirements that you must meet in order to apply for that particular program. Okay, so that's 2. So you can either submit test scores, you can choose to take a summer course at a local community college or Xavier affiliated, or lastly, which is what we've been talking about here, take the Accuplacer exam. With the Accuplacer exam, we are telling everyone you're required to take it because we want you guys to just take it, get it over with, okay? The first time you take the Accuplacer exam, it is free. Y'all remember that, right? So it is free. You do not have to pay for it. Should you not perform in the manner that you would like to, the next time that you take it, you have to wait 10 business days, and then you have to also pay $20 to take the next test. Deadline, so that's the first thing. Deadline to get this completed, July 1st. Your placement exams need to be completed and information needs to be to Xavier by July 1st. There is context behind this. Incoming freshmen do not make their own classes for the fall. That is done by your academic advisor, which is a faculty member. This occurs during middle of July. So therefore, we need your placement scores by July 1st so that they can accurately assign you to your correct course for you to be ready to enroll in the fall. Make sense? And then lastly, dual enrollment, AP credit, IB credit, that is all also due July 1st for the same reasons of what I just mentioned. If you've taken dual enrollment classes and you're like, well, I took a class, a math course or whatnot and everything. Yes, admissions will evaluate that. We'll work with faculty members to evaluate that information. And then you'll be able to see this on your student portal in Slate. So remember, this is the portal that you've used to check where you are in the admission, the application process. We will also post on there where if you've actually receive credit for those courses, but we must have the official transcript from that college. It can't be on your high school transcript. We have to have the official transcript from the college or institution where you've taken the classes so that you can submit that. All right, we're going to get to some of these. I did see this question pop up, Dr. Woods. How much does Summer Start Institute cost?
So we pay for, so the first week is online. So you take that online, and then the next 5 weeks, so somebody asked if it was an online course. So it's it's what we call hybrid. The first the first week is online, and then the following 5 weeks you're on campus, is face to face. I know I wrote that down somewhere. Hold
Okay,
on.
while you look for that, Torian, would you mind placing in the chat box again the credentials that are needed when emailing for placement testing, the information that you all need?
I did it already.
To place it in it again, because we have a whole bunch of questions that came
Oh, okay,
in.
okay. Because I
So
put it in.
do that for me.
Tuition and fees is $1,206, and that's what you would be responsible for paying. You can receive federal financial aid. You would need to complete a 2021 FAFSA, the academic year we're in now, a 2021 FAFSA. You would need to complete that and have that information to us by June 9th in order to get federal financial aid to help you pay for the tuition costs. But room and board is paid by the camp, by us.
Someone asked, how do you know which tests you will need to take? If you are a test optional student, all three. So if you opted not to send in any scores, you need to take all three. You can also visit XULA.edu/credit-information. Credit-information. And it will give you the overall outline of what we're looking for to place out of those developmental courses. So I know that graph that Dr. Woods showed you may seem a little finicky because we did kind of go over it pretty quickly. All of that is online. XULA.edu/credit-information.
Let's see, someone asked, how do I send new ACT scores?
Have the contact ACT and have them sent directly to the admissions office, and we can upload that on your student record. And then mind you, SASO has access to that information too, so that's how they're able to see it as well. But it has to come through us, through admission.
And someone asked, if you need to take 2 out of 3 placement tests over, is it $20 per test? No, it's just $120.
Good question. I saw some heads nodding like, Okay.
Someone asked a good one about multiple composite scores from ECT.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say,
multiple.
so testing is not based on your composite score. It is based on the single score, on your individual reading score, your individual math score, your individual English score. It's not based on your composite. I think for reading, we'll look at the composite, but I can't remember.
Correct. So on the ACT, we will accept either the reading or the regular ACT score. Again, that's why I say visit XULA.edu/credit-information. It'll give you the outline on that, but you're correct, Dr. Woods.
Someone also asked a good question on how many times can they retake the test?
That's a good question. We'd have to get back to them with that. Normally, we would only do it twice. If they haven't been successful after the second time, and particularly with timing and the number of students that have to be tested, they normally don't get enough time to get a third test before it's time for us to start making class schedules.
Someone asked about discussion regarding AP and IB test scores. Does Xavier require that? We don't require it, but if you do have AP or IB scores, those need to be to admissions by July 1st so that we can make sure that we have evaluated them correctly. Students, again, visit that webpage again, XULA.edu/credit-information, and it will give you the breakdown for AP credit, IB credit, CLEP for any of those who may have taken that as well.
Someone asked, what's the earliest they can take the placement test? You can send the email now to placementtesting@xula.edu so you can get on the schedule because they're testing already. So someone asked about scores in order to not take the Accuplacer. You only have to take the Accuplacer if you do not have ACT or SAT scores. If you apply, what if you applied test optional, but you took the SAT already? So you would have to send those scores in.
Yep. So I was waiting for someone to ask that question. So I decided to apply to Xavier. I wanted to be test optional. I was admitted, but hey, I actually do have test scores. Submit the test scores so that we can still see where you fall from a developmental coursework standpoint. That does not change the admission decision at all. Again, it does not change the admission decision at all. This is to set you up successfully. That's what we're trying to do. Dr. Woods, you just said something a minute ago. I do want to come back and to kind of correct that a little bit. So all test optional students, yes, you're required to take the Accuplacer exam because technically you fall in developmental coursework requirements for all 3 of those courses. But for students, let's say you did submit test scores and they fell below what is needed in order to place out of the developmental classes, yes, you will need to take the Accuplacer and or try to test out of that particular area so that you don't have to take the developmental class. Does that make sense? Everyone following me? Okay, so you will, so if you, let's say you submitted an ACT and you got less than the score that is required, I believe the math is a 19, the score in that section is a 19 to place out of it. Let's say you had.
It has to be 20 to place out of.
Place out of it. So if you scored a 19, you would be placed in developmental.
Correct.
You would be placed in developmental course for math. Please be sure that you do take the Accuplacer exam so that you can try to place out of that, so that you can. So test optional, automatic. You don't have anything. So we need something to be able to make that determination and help you. If you did submit something, but you know it doesn't meet those minimum requirements based on that web page that I gave you, yes, still follow up to make arrangements so that you can be placed accurately and accordingly. If we don't have that information, what happens? During registration, okay, I'm just going to use Justin. Justin gets placed in some class that he really should not have actually been taken, but based on the information and the documentation that we have available, that's telling us that Justin is supposed to be in the X class. Don't come here in November and then start coming to the admission office and say, hey, I actually have all this information when we could have made this decision. We want to make sure that you are set up accordingly and that you get your foot on the right path so that you're not taking to any longer time than needed to complete your academic career successfully. Make sense? So you own some of this responsibility as well. We're trying to help you, but we can't do it for you. All right.
Two students asked a really good question, and can they take the Accuplacer to other schools?
So the Accuplacer is, that's what somebody was saying, does it have to be Xavier's? The Accuplacer is College Board. You're just taking it as Xavier. We just make that process easier for you. So you register, we send all of the information into College Board, get the waiver, and then you take it as Xavier.
Yep. I hope we addressed this question. So if we take the SAT, we don't have to take the Accuplacer? if you've taken the SAT and you meet the requirements, no, you don't have to. You're good to go.
Yeah, so it's not just taking it. You have to meet the requirements to test out of developmental.
For dual enrollment courses, how should official transcripts be submitted? The official transcript should come directly from the college or university where you took the coursework. It cannot just be listed on the high school transcript. We have to have the official transcript from that particular institution. And it can be submitted directly to the admissions office from the registrar's office at that particular college directly to us.
Jasmine, this one I'm not sure. It says, I've already taken an Accuplacer through Montgomery College. Do I need to take it again through Xavier?
We just need to get the score.
Just need the score, yeah.
We need the score from that school.
And someone asked, how long does it take to receive the results? You get your results immediately. Once you complete the test, you get your results.
All right. How do we pay for the enrollment and housing fee? Now, I'm all about that, answering that question. So if you need to submit your enrollment deposit or your housing deposit, visit confirm.xula.edu. Again, that's confirm.xula.edu. The enrollment deposit is $150. The housing deposit is a non-refundable $100 deposit. Confirm.xula.edu. The enrollment deposit is due May 1st. How long does it typically, oh, you already answered that, about 40, you said that 45 minutes to an hour. How long does it take to take the exam?
Yeah,
Dr.
if
Woods?
you're taking all three, they normally schedule for 3 hours.
Okay.
So of 1 hour for each test.
Okay. And did we answer this question? Do you provide, going back to Summer Start Institute, if it's going to be in person, housing and all that stuff?
Yes, we
Is it provided?
We cover housing.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure we've answered many of your questions. I think we've kind of answered them. If anyone wanted to do the hand raise emoji, if we haven't gotten to your question, feel free.
Somebody said, I know this off topic, but do y'all accept TOPS?
Yes, we do. Someone asked about TOPS. So that means you're a Louisiana student in state. All right, bring it home. We do, as long as you've met the requirements.
We have 2 hands raised. Anissa Collins.
Okay, Anicia, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Anissa. I just wanted to know, is there a study guide for the Accuplacer? Like what should we really study to possibly do well on the test? Or is it really just a blindside type of
Yeah, you can go to the Accuplacer website and they provide a study guide.
Okay.
At Accuplacer, I think it's accuplacer.com. And they will provide a study guide.
Renaya?
Yes, hi. If we decided to send our ACT scores because we wanted to be evaluated as a student with scores and we fill out the appeal form, when should we be hearing back?
You should be hearing back relatively soon. This is for course placement, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you should be hearing back soon. We are actually going to send out communication to students within the next week or so, just saying you have placed a need for whichever one of those 3 different courses, so that you have it kind of documented to know, oh, well, I know I need to take the math developmental placement test.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But then also, so we don't necessarily follow up to say, Renaya, just to FYI, I'm circling back to that. We don't follow up to say, Renaya, we have your ACT, you do not have to take X. We're only going to follow up with students who actually who need to satisfy the requirement. So if you are waiting for your score, please feel free to visit xula.edu/credit-information so that you can know where you need to land. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Camilla?
Hi, my name is Camila. My question, I'm not sure if it was answered or am I just re-asking it, but I asked, are we automatically taking it or do we need to sign up to take it? Like, if that makes sense.
You have to sign up.
And is it through
Otherwise, you're
that?
going to be placed in all 3 developmental courses.
Okay.
If you don't have test scores.
Is that the link that was just sent, the Accuplacer.College Board link?
No, it's the placement testing at XULA.edu.
Oh, so I emailed them to tell them that I want to take the
Email
test.
them, yeah, and provide your name, your 900 number, your email address, your cell phone number, and your date of birth.
Okay.
Olivia says she can't raise her hand, but she has 2 questions.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to you, Olivia. Daniel, and then Jerry.
Yeah, on my application, or my admission application, I had put that I wanted to be test optional, but I think I accidentally put that I wanted my test scores included. So do I just sign up for the Accuplacer and then take it and then see where I am?
So you did submit your test scores, so we have them on file, correct?
No, so I didn't take the ACT or the SAT. So I wanted to be test optional. So instead, would I just take the Accuplacer to be like,
Correct, yes.
all right, thank you.
My question is, because if you are graduating with your associates, can you take any summer classes? Like the Summer Institute, would you take different classes from your peers? Or
So
would you
the Summer Institute is only for people who need developmental math.
Okay.
So if you don't require any developmental courses and you want to take summer courses to get a head start, I think you can do that, correct, Jasmine?
Yes, you can. You need to follow up with admissions directly so that we can see which courses that it is that you're interested in taking.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, Olivia.
Hi, my first question is, if you got a scholarship that covers housing, do we still have to pay the deposit for housing?
If you got a scholarship that covers it, yes.
Yeah.
All students are still required to submit an enrollment deposit, even students who may have received a full ride, so to speak. So yes, an enrollment deposit is still required.
Okay, and then my second question is for the new SAT evidence-based reading and writing scores that are provided. It provides a score like 24 and then 970, but then on College Board, you can only get a score up to 800 on both sections. So I'm kind of confused on what score we're supposed to get in order to opt out of taking developmental classes.
It is updated actually on the webpage. It has both the that's considered the old score, which is the 800 score, and then the now new old, going back and forth with College Board on the 1600 scale. That's listed on there as well, Olivia. So both scores are listed online.
Sorry, I see the score for the new one, but it's like out of 24 and then out of 900. So I was kind of confused. And then the other one that's there is also out of 24 for English, but I see the new one for math.
Mm-hmm. That's on the sub score piece. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Eric and Tamira.
Never mind, my question was answered. Thank you.
Okay.
Bianca says she can't raise her hand, but she has a question.
Okay. Let's let Tamara go and then we'll go back to Deonta.
Hi, my name's Tamira, and I was wondering, okay, so I was supposed to be taking the SAT soon, like with the writing, with the essay and stuff, because my school didn't provide that. So I can like send out my test scores, but if I can still take the Accuplacer test just in case. Is that possible?
Yes, you have that as an option. And I can't remember the name that you just said, Dr. Woods.
It moved.
Bianca,
I don't
Bianca and Janaya can't raise their hand.
Okay, Bianca, then Janaya.
Hi, you said that certain science majors aren't allowed to take developmental courses. Is that correct?
No, you cannot take science courses if you have to take developmental math or reading. So you would not be allowed to register for your science courses until you have satisfied the developmental requirement.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And the next person, Torian, was who you said you mentioned someone else?
Janaya.
Janaya.
Oh yeah, I had the same question as Bianca, but so then what classes would you be taking with that? Like if you have a developmental course for like math or reading, what classes would you be taking if you can't register in the science?
We have a 40-hour core curriculum, so you would be taking your core courses. So a schedule might look like the developmental math. You may be in English, whichever English you test into 1000 or 1010. I need to clarify something about that. So English 1000 is not considered developmental, but if you test into English 1000, it comes with a component where you have to do a certain number of hours weekly in the Writing Resource Center. English 1010, you don't have that additional requirement. So your schedule may look like Math 990, which is a developmental math, that's 4 hours. And then you may have English 1010, that's 7 hours. And then you may have what we call a human development course, which behavior course. And that might be psychology, it could be political science, it could be sociology. There's a whole range of courses that comes under that particular core. So you would probably have 2 of your core, the rest of it will be filled in with core courses. Core courses are courses that you must complete, take and pass in order to graduate from Xavier. So it's not like it's classes that's a waste of your time, because some students think that, but they're classes that you have to take to finish at Xavier. You just will be taking them in a different sequence from students who do not have developmental courses.
Okay. All right. I think we've answered. Oh, Chelsea.
Hey, so I had a question. I was just wondering, with the Summer Start Institute housing, will we have a roommate? And also, like, while we're on campus, will we have like a mentor who's an upperclassman, or how will that work?
Yes, you will have a roommate, and yes, you will have a peer mentor that's an upperclassman.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And then we have can we take the developmental math course at a junior college if we are from out of state? Yes.
Yes. But it has to, in order to take the developmental course at another school, our math department like to see the course description of the math course that you're going to take somewhere else. So if you decide to do that, please just send me an email, and then I can work with you individually on that.
Okay. Eric, Tamira, and Atara again.
So about the summer courses, is that the Summer Institute one, is that the only summer program y'all have, or do y'all have any other summer programs like towards the end where we can like go in and get a feel for like the city and stuff?
So there are some different summer programs, but a lot of them are for incoming or getting students who are wanting to be applicants for Xavier. So more like high school students. But the Summer Start Institute is really more so for students who are actually about to enroll for the fall semester. But then there are summer courses that you can take. So someone asked about that a little earlier. You can certainly enroll in summer classes if that is something of interest. Outside of the Summer Start Institute.
Somebody asked for the dates for Summer Start Institute. It is June 25th until July 31st. The 25th through the 29th will be online, and then the 28th until July 31st is on campus.
Someone's about to ask, well, I thought you said that the deadline is July 1st. Yes, the deadline is still July 1st. For that particular program, we do actually have the parameters already set and in place so that students at the end of that particular course, their information is still accommodated for their registration. So that's all taken care of on the back end. But don't forget, July 1, that's like right after May 1. So May 1, then July 1. The first is are important dates for you in your world, okay? Atara, Margaret.
My question was, I applied as test optional, but I was able to take the SAT, and I'm looking at like the criteria of what you need to not take the developmental the class. So if I submit my SAT score to admissions, I wouldn't have to take the other test.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And I send it through College Board, right?
Yes, we have to have the official score. Margaret.
Hi, I wanted to know when the students take their test, do they get their scores immediately?
Yes.
Okay.
For the Accuplacer, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we have time for like about 2 more questions, and then we'll wrap up. So hands raised here. I see Renaya again and Tamara.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so with the Accuplacer, when signing up, did y'all want us to use our Xavier email or our personal ones when emailing the placement testing?
It could be your personal one, but we would like you to get in the habit of start using your Xavier one.
So then you can say the Xavier email, then use your Xavier email.
Yeah.
I used my Xavier email to email them, but I put my personal email on the email. Does that make sense?
That's fine. Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Layla, and forgive me for mispronouncing your name, Rihanna.
Okay, so my question is, if you don't take the classes in the summer, would you have to take it when you get to Xavier? Like if you miss like the class period for the summer?
You mean the developmental math course?
Yeah, that's
yes,
what I meant.
You will automatically be placed in it for the fall semester.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Rihanna, and I had a question, which was, when
you're breaking up.
Able to keep the same rush?
Repeat your question for me, okay?
Hi, my name is Rihanna, and my question was, when we apply for the Summer Institute, will we be able to keep the same dorm for like when we move out for the fall?
I'm not sure. It's possible you won't be in that same dorm. Yeah.
More than likely, I'm going to say that's a 99% no.
Yeah.
As as rooms are being assigned and worked through right now, and for the fall. So summer housing versus fall housing, that's two totally separate processes. So more than likely you would not be in the same room. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Hallie and Chelsea.
So if I end up submitting, I'm gonna submit my SAT scores. Do they have to be a specific like score in order for you guys to determine if I have to take the test or not?
Yes.
What's the score? And the score is on the slideshow that you guys had, right?
Yes, and you can also, it's also online, xula.edu/credit-information. If someone wouldn't mind putting that on in the chat, xula.edu/credit-information.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody
Okay,
asked
so I
you
have-
to accept ACT Super Score. I don't know what that is.
Say that again.
Someone asked, do you accept ACT Super Score? But I'm not familiar with that.
At this time, no. Right now, at this time, no, we do not super score the ACT. But for the SAT, yes, we do. All right. Okay, we're wrapping up. Brianna, and last person would be Kyla.
Okay, hi everyone. This is not a question about the testing or anything, but I do live out of state. I'm on the east side of the country, so I just wanted to know, like, do you have like a set date for like move-in day or anything? Because I have to like book a ticket, like a plane ticket. So
Sure. So you're going to be hearing from our student affairs partners very soon, much sooner than later. Typically, orientation is 10 days from the first start, or 10 days prior to the first day of class. So for freshman orientation, it leads right into your first day of class, which is mid-August. So you're going to be hearing from them because there is also a component that they will infuse in there that will be online. So you'll have to do some things, some sessions online prior to getting here for that particular piece, okay? But you'll be hearing from them much sooner than later.
okay, thank you.
All right. And lastly, Kyla.
Hi, my question is, once we take the test, will the scores automatically get sent to you guys, or do we have to submit them some type of way?
The Accuplacer?
Yeah, the Accuplacer test.
No, someone on our campus put it where it needs to be in our system.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
And I see that Chelsea, you said
Chelsea.
you didn't get to ask your question. Go ahead.
Yes, so I was wondering, if we score low on the Accuplacer, but we have an AP Lit score of like 5, would the score be able to overshadow that reading score? Or how would that work? Could you hear me?
Yeah, could you repeat your question?
I was wondering, like, if we score low on the Accuplacer, but we have an AP Lit score of, say, 5, would that score of 5 be able to overshadow the low Accuplacer score?
So Jasmine, I don't know what the AP passing score is.
For the AP score, typically we're looking for at least a 3. Again, go to that webpage again, xula.edu/credit-information, and that will give you the exact listing for the specific AP courses of what's needed in order to have credit for that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. Well, I want to thank you all so much. You were very, very engaged and you had some excellent questions. If you have any other questions, feel free to follow up with my office or Dr. Woods or Mr. Mingo as well. We'd be more than happy to answer them. We are going to be hosting one more of these sessions on April the 22nd. So that's Thursday, April the 22nd at 6 p.m. Central. It's a repeat of this to go over the information. So, and then, there may be some students that attend at that time that may ask questions that perhaps you didn't think about. but just to know that that's coming, that's forthcoming. Again, if you have any follow-up questions, don't hesitate to connect with my office. It's admissions@xula.edu. Again, admissions@xula.edu. And I'd be happy to answer your questions as well. You can always email me. My email is jbrown77@xula.edu. Again, that's jbrown77@xula.edu. Dr. Woods, she could put her email in there, and Mr. Mingo as well from the Say So side. But again, we can't wait to welcome you this fall. We don't want to take up more of your time. We promised you an hour, and I want to make sure that we adhere to that. We're already a little over, but kudos to you. Welcome home, and we look forward to getting you through this enrollment process. All right. We'll talk soon. Make it a great day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, the weather is really bad by me. I can hear the wind whistling. It's like, ooh.
Okay. Brian, if you want to stop the record, I think we have everyone.